Evening, friends. So, I'm in Bratislava, Slovakia. Wasn't actually that much of a journey. It was just broken up into small parts. And I had the afternoon eating and drinking with a good friend. And then it was 6 o'clock before I got on the train. And I just got here, ditched Abby in my bags. And what's the first thing you do when you hit Slovakia? Have a kick-ass goulash with Carlsberg dumplings and some very decent beer. I'm now going to settle in for the evening with whiskey and a cigar and the second season of Shoresy. I'm so tired.
Ott áll, mint régen elvarázsoltva a mesevilág, ahol minden szép, ha legalább más lehet, az jó lehet. A lány bejárt a gondolatban már. Talán, ha őt is elvarázsolná a mesevilág, ahol minden szép, ha legalább más lehet, az jó lehet. Marad egy sorok, vagy titokok sorok, hiszen ez Monte Carlo. Mi baj a pálmok vágyaknak és szállodák, hiszen ez Monte Carlo. Délben mindig belésel a nap, van, aki éjjel él, s akiben dolgozik, szereti Monte Carlo.
Good evening, friends. Welcome to Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia, sitting on the Danube, as do many national capitals. It's a rather lovely place. Loch Ness Monster vibes. That barge is working very, very hard to go upriver, because that is some slow progress.
tak by som si myslel, že bol. No, to hovorím, toto by bolo také, že... No, že záleží, že proste kebyže to chcem. No, kebyže...
So I'm at the top of the UFO tower on the main bridge across the Danube here in Bratislava. Rather unusually for a city on a river, the left bank is remarkably much smaller conurbation than the right. Probably the reason is because in the distance there is Austria. You can actually see quite far into the country. And if you cross over to the other side, this is Bratislava proper, which is not a massive city, 500,000 people, which is relatively small for a national capital. But in the distance there, you can see Hungary. And it's this capital city is very close to two other countries. Which is interesting. It's a very nice evening. So that, from a long way off, is a motorcade. I imagine that is President Chaputova returning to her residence from a meeting or something. It's a guess. It's a pretty good guess. Good afternoon, friends. So, Freedom Square in Bratislava with a very large, very cool fountain and this massive area that is essentially a lovely place for kids to run around and splash. Freedom Square, so named in 1990 because, of course, the Velvet Revolution in '89 happened here too, and Czechoslovakia kicked out the Soviets without bloodshed. Before that, it was named after the Czechoslovak first communist prime minister, president. One of the two. I didn't actually look that up. Anyway, that is the post office. The single largest post office in the world. And honestly, this is lovely. It's Sunday. It's a beautiful day today. And it's just lots of locals having a lovely time with beer and gelato and water. So behind me is the Slovak presidential palace. Really quite nice, actually. And of particular topical interest, actually, because yesterday was the inauguration of the new president. Now, Slovakia, the Slovak Republic, works with a president as the figurehead, head of state, and weirdly enough, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and has a prime minister who is the one with executive power. But of course, the president, like in Czech Republic, is elected. The government at the moment, recently, as you may have seen in the news, the prime minister of Slovakia was shot 5 times at close range. That was just a few weeks ago. He and his government are really quite pro-Russia, or at least they're not in favour of helping Ukraine in any way. I think the Prime Minister said not one bullet for Ukraine. Annoyingly, the wannabe assassin was a pro-Ukraine, pro-Europe and pro-democracy agitator, as it were, which annoys the hell out of me. Anyway, so the president, until yesterday, her name was Zuzka Chaputova, and she was a decidedly pro-Ukrainian voice. So there was some balance between the two. The new president, his name is Peter Pellegrini, he is on the other side. So now both the government and the presidency are both now in favour of, if not Putin, if not Russia, certainly a far more eastern slant, which is disappointing. And as a result of the Prime Minister's attempted assassination, he is actually okay. He was shot 5 times at close range. He was in critical condition for some time, but he is recovering. Because of that, the inauguration of the new president yesterday in this country, the sheer degree of military and police on the streets was intense. Snipers on the roof, the whole 9 yards. Now you can understand why the Prime Minister of a powerful nation was shot 5 times at close range. It's actually a miracle he survived. So you can understand why, but yes, so that's the situation. The presidential palace is really very nice. Anyway. Hi there. So I've just left the cathedral. There's quite a large service going on with many priests. And while I did take a knee briefly on my way in, my hypocrisy only extends so far. Quite an important service, I'd imagine, from a guest, because there are people in here dressed in their best. They look good. And I felt a little underdressed in my jeans and a t-shirt. The bells are ringing, as you can hear. I might have to come back on a less busy day, because it is very beautiful inside. So, Bratislava Cathedral is St. Martin's Church. It's built on what has always been a crossroads and a market and a community centre. The church apparently used to be up in Bratislava Castle, but the Duke was getting a little annoyed with that, and he asked the clergy to build one in 1211 AD. They did build one, and then funding was somehow achieved in the way that churches always do, and that one was knocked down, and construction began on that in 1311. And then, of course, over time was added to, some things were knocked down. And yeah, it's a beautiful edifice. It's very neo-Romanesque. And inside is very tasteful, I must admit. Anyway. So I've stopped for a beer in a shady corner. Quite nice, actually. Apparently, I've actually looked, I've checked. I'm not sure that there's any particular event on today. I think it's just Sunday at the Cathedral here in Bratislava. In which case it's pretty cool, because Sunday best, quite an event, and I keep seeing guys walk past, priests in cassocks, you know, so the full, down to the floor thing, walking past here in sunglasses and a cassock, looking for all the world like Neo from The Matrix Reloaded. Which is pretty cool, actually. Anyway. Cheers. Good afternoon, friends. So, my last planned stop of the day is this, the Church of St. Elizabeth, otherwise known as the Blue Church, for blisteringly obvious reasons. It's actually very young. It was started in 1908 and completed in 1913. It didn't quite have its blue colour at that time. That was added on a little later on, but then was added to and expanded upon. You got blue tile and what's called wave strip encircling the base of the church. It has really quite a few unusual features because it's apparently in the Hungarian secessionist style, which I had never heard of. But it's got like an oval ground floor. I'm going to hop in. And I've just noticed the Illuminati all-seeing eye at the top. Hello from the other side.